Hi, welcome to another Long Fawn Cards video. Sorry I've been gone for so long, my computer died and it was just fixed, so I'm finally able to finish this video. Right now you're seeing a scrap block from Cornish Heritage Farms. I think it's called Fiery Floral or something kind of cool like that. Anyways, it's a beautiful stamp that right there, that's Aqua Mist paper tray ink, but this stamp is just gorgeous, and it's 6x6 because I think it's meant mostly for scrapbookers, but it works on cards too. I have that scrap piece of paper down because it's obviously going to go over the card that's only 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I just put ink all over it, and it's kind of hard to see because of the red rubber. You kind of just see like a shininess, and that's kind of how I tell if it's covered in ink. I just kind of look from the side and look to see that it's shiny. And on these scrap blocks, you have to really, or all of these sort of background stamps, you really have to press down and make sure you get all the area. So right now I just have a nice subtle background in that Aqua Mist color. I just love that floral. It's just so pretty. So anyways, there's that background sheet that I had to catch any extra ink so I don't end up with stuff everywhere. And now this is going to be one of my elements for my card, is that cutout piece of sort of linen textured off-white paper. And I can't remember the measurements right now for it, but I think it's something like 3 1/2 by 4 1/2, something close to that. And here's this October afternoon set that I'm in love with, and of course I'm going to use the deer and the "You Are Such a Deer" on the card. So anyways, I'm so sorry for all this shaking. I used a different type of, I decided to use a mic stand, and it looks like I got, it ended up being kind of shaky. One day I will find a good way to film these videos. I'm just not sure how. So now I'm just putting my little deer on. I've used it so much, I really need to wash it. If your stamps start losing their stickiness, if you just wash them like in a delicate soap and water in a bowl and let them dry, they kind of become sticky again, the acrylic stamps. So I really need to do that. That was Close to Cocoa Ink by Stampin' Up. It's one of my favorite browns. I really like it. And then I'm taking out that foam pad again because this once again is a really solid stamp and I want to get a clear image. So I'm using that foam stamp to help me out, or foam pad, excuse me, to help me out. So right now I'm just making sure that my deer is covered in ink. Sometimes you get the actual sort of texture from the stamp pad on the stamp, and so you kind of want to rub it around a little bit on the stamp pad so that it's more, depending on if you want the texture or not, but I didn't want it here, so I kind of was rubbing it there on the stamp pad to lose this texture of the actual stamp pad. And right there I'm just laying out the sentiment there. I like to lay it out and then stick it to the block so that it ends up straight, because if you try to just put it on, it'll end up kind of curved sometimes. So once again, still using the foam pad. I'm just kind of in love with the foam pad right now. It's really working really well. And there, just getting my green ink on there, and stamping my little sentiment there. So once again, my lining up that takes forever, but as you can see, that image there looks really great with that foam pad. So now I'm going to be using a stamp set. I think it's Technique Tuesday, and I want to write Mom, but I only have one M. So what I'm going to do is I put the O and the M, and I know the O needs to be in the center, so I kind of center everything off that O, and then I have a little block saved to put the M on after. So I put some ink on there, kind of center the O, and then now I'm putting the M on that smaller block that I had shown you, and just getting some ink and putting it on and just trying to get it as best as I can. And you're going to see right now I stamped it just a little off, but you know what, it still looks cute. I still like it anyways. So anyways, here is some distress ink called Antique Linen Color, and then this is a applicator tool that has felt on it. It's kind of got this Velcro, and then you can buy these felt pads, felt, excuse me, and you probably just buy some random felt too, but you can buy the felt pads at Michael's. They have this, and I just put them on there, and I save each one for each color until it kind of rips apart. So this is my antique linen one. I've got it on there really secure. And I love this tool because you pick up the ink with it and it helps you kind of blend it onto the thing to get that sort of distressed look. So that's kind of what I'm going to be going for next. So I'm opening up the antique linen, which is a really good way to get that sort of vintage paper look. I really like it for that reason, this color. And I'm just going to pick up some of the ink randomly and get it on the foam pad so you can see it there. It looks kind of dirty. And then what I do is I start off the edge of the paper and then move on, because if you start on it, sometimes it can be too dark, which you might want that look, and sometimes I do, but if you kind of start off, then you get that. And I kind of do little circles, and it kind of helps rub the ink around. So I'm kind of, as you see, I start off and then I go on and start rubbing. And the fun part about this is you can't be wrong. You could just, I mean, well, you can never be wrong with stamping, really, but you can't be wrong. It's just so fun. You just kind of like put ink on there, and it's kind of relaxing, and if you need to de-stress, you could distress. Okay, that was very dorky, but I had to say it. So anyways, you know, it's just kind of a fun thing to do, you know, just to put the ink all around it and kind of get this sort of weathered look. I know I've seen some people crumble up paper and then do this technique, and it looks really cool because some of the raised edges take the ink more, and you know, it all depends on how you do it. Right there, I'm just kind of looking for empty spots. I don't want the paper to show through so clearly somewhere with no distress ink on it that it doesn't look like, I want to look like I bought the paper that way is kind of my goal. So I'm getting into, you know, over some of the sentiment and everything like that, and that's fine. I want that look. I'm kind of just getting a light color now in the middle to tie it all in together, but I wanted the darkest mostly on the outside. So right now, it's a little off camera. I'm fixing a little bit, but I'm kind of trying to line up some buttons there to see what I see, and I'm taking out my Martha Stewart twine, which I love, and I have it right now stored in this little IKEA jar. If you ever need jars and things to hold stuff, go to IKEA. They're like $1 or $2. I put my buttons in there. That's the melon berry buttons from Papertrey ink. And I think now I'm going to bring out, I think that's the new leaf green buttons. I think I have some other green buttons thrown in there too. But I love using those little jars, and they look pretty. So I just cut the twine, and then I thread it through the buttons. And it happens to take me forever. I just am really bad at it. And then I could use a needle, but threading the needle takes me just as long, so I just end up doing it this way. So I do different styles. Sometimes I'll have the crisscross in the front, or the two across, or I'll tie a bow in the front. I do different things. So I'm kind of fast forwarding right now, so you don't have to see me attempting to thread these buttons forever. But yeah, thread through. Make sure you have enough extra linen thread there so that you can actually, you know, get it tied with your fingers, and then you could just snip off the extra ends. And I put my buttons on. I always put them on with glue dots. I think that's kind of the easiest way to do it. Then I got kind of this tealish green color for the orangey melonberry button, and this one I wanted to tie a bow in front, so I put it going towards the back of the button first, and then to come out to the front so that I can tie a bow, which right now I'm attempting to do. This takes me forever and ever. I end up doing it over and over again until I get it, well, it never ends up perfect, but until I get it at least where I'm happy. So right now I'm just trying to get that button. I just keep kind of loosening it and then tightening it until I get a cute look that I like. So now I'm just putting some adhesive on the back of that deer thing I made earlier with all the distress ink, and I still haven't loaded my ATG gun, as you could tell. I actually have done it as of now. Since my computer was broken, I had time to do things. So anyways, I did that, and now I'm gonna center it on the card. I'm gonna do it slightly higher than centered, so that the buttons kind of have space on the bottom of the card. And once again, I'm just putting them on with glue dots, the buttons. There I'm putting on that last one, and the glue dots just hold forever. I love those things, and you really can't tell that they're there, and they just look great, and they kind of hold the thread down too, which is really nice. So anyways, that's my final card. I think it's a really cute Mother's Day card, especially for a mom that maybe likes that shabby chic or likes sort of the woodland creatures look. So here's a final picture of my card. There are those cute buttons. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day.